Hello, and welcome to the Sleepy Dad's Sleepy Time Corner. I'm joined by my sleepover buddies, Matt Visual and George Weedman. Hello, sleepy friends.
Do you still call it a sleepover if you're adults?
Oh, you just call that sex.
Wait,
But
so every male sleepover you've ever had.
I don't want to pressure you, you know? I'm just it's not a matter of what we do overnight. It's just whether or not it's called a sleepover. If you're, all grown up and pay taxes.
You're probably just helping a buddy out, right? Who got too drunk and missed the last train or missed the last bus, and they just end up chilling on your couch, and you're like, this is not really a sleepover, but I'll help a dude out.
It's charity. That's what you call it when you're an adult. You call it charity.
Charity?
Charity.
Oh.
You're extending your home to another fellow in need out of the kindness of your heart.
I don't know if charity's the best word to use.
It should be.
I mean,
Why?
it's a cheap hotel.
Dude, I'll have you know that I only rock 5-star here in my house.
What happens if we stay there? Is it charity for us, or is it a podcast episode? Wait, George, when you stayed at mine when you were in Japan, what was that? Charity or?
It was charity. It was charity. There's no other word. He said it was charity.
Well,
That
yeah,
is
it's
George's
not like you were
rules.
charging
It's
me.
charity.
I wasn't charging you, no, that's for sure.
That's the difference from when we were sleeping at your place versus when we were sleeping in the capsule hotel. It's not charity if you charge someone to have a sleepover as an adult.
We did do a podcast episode though from my apartment, so technically
Yes.
it was like a work vacation. I don't know.
The Dad Awards.
The dad.
It was
oh
a
my god, yeah.
It was a shift.
It was a work shift.
Yeah, we'll just call it an overnight shift. I will settle on
We were
that.
doing crunch together.
I'm cool with that. Right.
We were
right.
crunching hard. Playing Smash, playing Soul Calibur, and recording an episode of the podcast from Japan. It was crunch.
That at least makes you feel more productive about it in your head. Right? It's
No, you just
important
don't.
these days.
You just don't want to call that a sleepover. A Japan sleepover.
In any case, hi. How are you guys? How has our week been?
Can't believe it's already been a week. Like, I feel like it was only yesterday we were talking about the Xbox again. The weeks are flying past now. Life seems to return to normal in some parts of the world. I don't know. It feels like we're rapidly approaching the station of 2021, and the train is like full speeding ahead to try and slam its brakes on really quickly soon.
Don't jinx it.
I'm not trying. I'm touching the wood. Touching that wood. I'm touching the sleepover wood.
A week ago, I was talking about how my Valve Index was breaking.
Indeed.
Right.
Now that it's been a week, I have fiddled with it. I got a replacement cable from customer support, and that ended up fixing it for about 2 days, and then it broke again.
2 days. How does it
Wow.
fix it for 2 days?
I don't know. I guess that's what they're going to have to figure out when I send it into them in the mail. I wanted to do a little bit of a talk about VR cables. So, in my case, it was apparently, according to the customer service rep, and the fact that it did actually get better for a couple days, we're thinking it was the cable that failed.
We were. Well, you were.
Me and customer support Rick are thinking it's the cable that failed. I think that's what also happened to my PlayStation VR too, because that thing still works assuming that you have the cable like coiled and pointed and stretched in one certain direction. Once you shuffle around on the couch and the thing moves around a bit, the PSVR starts flickering in and out. And the Valve Index just straight up died until I got a new cable on it, and then it died again after a few days. But now I'm starting to worry that like the problem with VR cables extends beyond an issue of immersion and accessibility and is more like a part of the machine that may or may not be prone to failure because you're slinging that cable around and stepping on it a lot more than a traditional game controller. to the point where it's almost like a moving part of the machine that will naturally get wear and tear with use. And this really, really kind of alarms me, you guys. I'm getting scared by my VR cables. I got on Google and I searched for VR cable failure, and sure enough, it turns out that this is a problem with Oculus Rift sets as well. You'll find repair guides for Oculus Rift cables,
and those
from
don't
people
come
who
out.
have from people who have had their cables failed and can't get them replaced from customer support. Yeah. If I can't get another cable from customer support, then for the Valve Index, the next one on Amazon, the one third-party option, is like a good $130.
That is insane.
So, like, VR cables might be a bigger problem than just something that occasionally snaps you out of the virtual reality zone and reminds you you're in a video game, to the point now where, like, during those 2 days when I had my Valve Index working again and I was playing Beat Saber on it, if I ended up accidentally stepping on the cable, like, it snapped me right out. Like, I used to be able to errantly step on the cable with my sock feet on carpet, something that I would not think would hurt it. But now that breaks immersion. Because it reminds me that the cable is another part of this thing that's liable to fail.
Wow. I was missing a little bit of George in my life this week, and now I'm glad I have it.
You got it back.
Like, I needed someone to complain about a cable, like
a VR headset.
Like, it's like the cable is infiltrating the government and about to overthrow everything. Like, that's how you talk about VR cables, and I love it. Like, it's gonna take over the fucking world. Like, the cable is actually Biden.
The thing is, you don't even know if the cable's the problem, right? Like, after all of this.
Yeah, like, not until it's permanently fixed.
So you could be blaming something that is entirely wrong.
I got a replacement cable and then it started working again.
Yeah, but then it broke after 2 days. That doesn't sound like the replacement cable fixed your problems. Sounds like you need a little bit of a wiggle.
Looks like you need to get a Quest. Number 2. And get that Facebook account rolling in.
I have not posted George. On my Facebook account since 2011.
Wow.
And I don't plan on starting back again anytime soon. Yeah, I keep off of that thing. I don't want to know.
Do you reckon like Vive or Steam are gonna make a Quest like equivalent? Because it feels like that's the way VR's got to go, right?
Cable. I think Sony is the more likely contender.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, I hope not. I don't want to get a PlayStation to play a fucking VR set.
What are the reasons? Why not?
Fuck that. I want a fucking regular headset. Regular fucking headset. Fucking PlayStation headset.
So unreasonable. Just no. Just
the Oculus Quest. What do you mean by regular headset at this point? When you just said you wanted a portable Oculus Quest, like, is that a regular headset?
Yes, that is a regular headset. You plug it into anything you want and you play something. Obviously, the stores are probably that's not the best example, but yeah, you plug it into anything you want and you're good to go. That's what the Oculus is. I would want that unless the PSVR is PC and console, then now we talk it.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. You probably got more luck with the Microsoft branded one, right?
I live in a completely different world than the rest of the human race, because when I close my eyes and think of the PSVR, I think of something that I have plugged into my PC and played a lot on over there.
Yeah, but how much we had this episode where you had the whole rigmarole of having to do that, and it was kind of redundant considering you already had a better headset that was more PC compatible at the time.
George,
it was more of a Frankenstein.
That's what I did a year before I got the $1,000 failure machine.
I thought you had a Rift before that. Sorry, man.
No, I had a PSVR before that.
Oh,
I never have had a Rift. I've been fine.
Back in the day, I used to love to spend hours and hours to try to get bullshit to work. These days, I just want to put on a fucking headset and have it work. That's it. I don't need to be like, oh, I modded it so I can. No.
I don't think
the
you're gonna
Rift,
get that with the Quest, dude. I
the
would
Quest is there.
expect a lot of problems to crop up with how much
All
of
you
that
gotta
is
do is
tied
sell
into
your
the
soul.
always
That's
online
all you gotta do.
experience.
Is sell your soul just a little bit.
And make sure that you're not past your Comcast 1.2 terabyte data cap, which they're now rolling out in like 13 states.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the old Comcast data cap monster is rearing its head again this week. They've announced that they're going to be rolling out data caps for 13 US states.
They can still do some bullshit like this?
How does that still happen? That
Yeah,
doesn't even
I don't
happen
understand.
in Japan.
Because there's no rules against it, and
That's what?
boomers are not going to know what the words mean, and they're and Trump's appointees are in the FCC, which has been gutted, and they're probably going to get away with it.
I feel like it's too late to do shit like that now. I feel like somebody's gonna do something. If not,
There
if not
would need to be
our
more
generation.
competition.
Yeah, they keep stopping it. Keep stopping fiber.
I was hoping that I'd have Google Fiber in my building by now, like 10 years ago. I didn't know I'd still be facing the same choice between Comcast and AT&T in this place.
Yep. And your AT&T doesn't have fiber, I'm assuming.
Yeah, if I stack up the speed for cost of what you get, it would be kind of a downgrade.
Yeah, AT&T has fiber, but only in limited places.
Not in my building.
So, what, out of interest, what do you think the crossroad is for VR, right? Because obviously, a lot of people have, came out in not, I don't want to say boycotting, but definitely a lot of people are coming out and saying, I don't want anything to do with Facebook. I'm not going to buy the Oculus Quest 2 or the Quest, because anything where I have to mandatory set up a Facebook account, I just don't want to do. Which then means it leaves you with pretty much two options now. Buying an older headset or buying the Index.
Yeah.
No, there's WMR. Everyone forgets about WMR.
Yeah,
because
for probably a reason. Yeah,
Yes.
probably for a reason.
Under
They're
marketing, they're fine. They review well.
I don't
The
even
price
know what
point
this
is decent.
WMR.
It's the Windows reality shit. It's all right.
See, I typed it, and the first thing that came up was the Oculus Quest 2.
That's why I don't think anyone talks about it. Not out of quality, but out of marketing. Like they're the cheaper budget models.
Oh, these are the HP ones and stuff.
Yeah, but I haven't heard complaints about them. There's a lot of people in our Discords who are running WMR sets, and they think it's fine.
That's fair. I mean, it says on the website they can run Star Wars Squadrons, Beat Saber, Half-Life Alyx, Rec Room, Pistol Whip.
Kind of wish I might have got one of those instead.
Yeah. Supposedly Pistol Whip is pretty good. I have not heard anybody talk about it, though. So, well, then you have three options, right? Which is still a pretty limited market. But considering the other two require... Wait, does the Windows mixed reality ones require cables? They do.
It depends.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Oculus is the only one who does it.
That's got to be the way forward, right? Because when I played the Quest 1, it was a revolutionary experience. Being able to walk around.
Tether free. Nothing dragging your fucking head. That's amazing. I want to feel it. The
cable weighs you down. It reminds you that you're in a game. I don't even know what it's like playing VR without a cable, but I'm already envious of that experience.
Well, I'm subconsciously always aware of it.
Yeah.
Always aware of it. I'm panicking. I'm going to trip over and kill myself.
If you step on it with your sock foot one too many times over the course of 9 months, it might fail.
And the thing is, the link only takes just one little USB cable, so you could just mount that easily to the top of your room, your ceiling, and you're good to go.
Also, there are I have not tried it myself, but I have heard Discord testimonies that it's fine. There are in-home streaming wireless solutions that you can use over Wi-Fi for some of these devices that I've heard is at least okay for virtual desktop stuff.
Oh,
I'd have to play it myself before I really believe in it, but I know that that stuff is at least out there, like Wii U style Wi-Fi video streaming.
that would be nice.
If it actually works, that
Yeah.
would be nice. The compression artifacts and input lag is something that would be especially bad for VR over traditional gaming. But I think I gotta get rid of this cable somehow. Like it's a can of worms. It's Pandora's cable.
I still have my first Oculus. I'm just waiting.
Is that switched over fully to Facebook account as well? They did that, right? Like, there's no such thing as Oculus. They migrated completely, right?
No. I think that's still a few years off. I think that's like a 2023 goal. Milestone is what they've set for migrating the older platforms over to the Facebook Marketplace. If you buy an Oculus Quest 2 or an Oculus Quest new, hey, it rhymed, then you will have to log into Facebook. But if you have the older hardware, you still got a few years where you can hold on to your dignity.
So what are you going to do next? You're just going to send it back?
I'm going to send it back. I'm keeping the support ticket active. I sent them a little Windows DirectX system report, and they haven't replied. But I'm sure that when they do, they'll ask me to send it back.
Yeah. How old is it?
I got it in February around Alex.
Wow. So yeah, you want to be
9 months.
at least within a year, right? You want to be sending that thing back as fast as possible.
The $1,000 warranty will expire next February, so I need to get it fixed by then.
Yeah, you want to do that pretty sharpish.
And the thing is that, like, even when the Valve Index was working, quote unquote, fine, it still had its inconveniences. Still would occasionally have a software update in Steam, break something, require a couple restarts. It would have the video feed cut off sometimes before. In the past, restarting the computer would fix this stuff, but once that stopped doing the trick is when I started getting in contact with customer support. Anyways, we've gone on about VR cables for a while. I feel like I don't want to keep dragging us down, you know?
Yeah, stop dragging us down, George.
With Jesus the Christ. Tether, like cable that I pull.
Yeah, pulling us down, tying us to the railroads of VR for years.
A lasso.
Well, I haven't played much. I've been pretty busy, but
so you finished like 8 games, 10?
I've been playing some Monster Hunter Iceborne with friend of the show, friend of the show, Patrick.
Oh, Monster Hunter on Game Pass.
Hunter. No,
or just
what? It's on Game Pass?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Uh-oh. With Iceborne? Please don't tell me it's on Iceborne because I spent $40 on that fucking thing.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check for you, but
I don't think so.
It might be.
They never do like.
So you've been playing Iceborne?
Yeah. What do you think of Iceborne? I'm curious because you had some interesting back and forth with the original game.
The original game is like
yeah, you guys are playing it together, right?
Yeah,
for a couple days.
Do you play together with George? No, you don't. You don't play together.
I remember
with George.
One of the big complaints you had was how hard it genuinely was to play together in Monster Hunter.
To go in, watch a fucking cutscene, send the SOS flare, and then have them jump into your fucking game. It is the worst co-op game ever.
Did they do anything with that? Is it better?
No,
now?
It's the same fucking thing.
Oh,
it is the worst co-op game because it is a co-op game. It is the worst co-op game. It's just like they don't want. Who cares about your cutscenes? Why can't I watch it with somebody? Like, I don't understand.
I'm amazed they never patched that. I am like very amazed that they never bothered to patch it.
The menu's convoluted. The stuff to learn about the stuff you like need, and the quest. are all over the place. You just can't find anything. If you come back to that game after beating it, you just forget everything. You forget everything. That game is a fucking mess. But when it comes down to monster hunting, that shit's fun. That shit's so fun. You with your friends, you going in, you're trying to find this monster, smelling their poop, and watching them fight each other. It's that part is just super good. And I don't understand why they can't just make it that. They have to put the fucking egg missions and stuff. It's just, I don't know. It's like, I really don't understand some Japanese developers sometimes, man.
Did you enjoy it, or
yeah, I mostly enjoyed it.
8 out of
Absolutely.
10, or
Yeah, I mostly enjoyed it.
okay.
So how did you end up going back to Monster Hunter? Like, were you just bored?
Yeah, Patrick got me into it. He's like, I've been playing Iceborne. I was like, it's like, how much is it? $40? Is it really $40? And I apparently didn't beat the last 2 bosses, so I had to go back and do that. Failure, dude. Like it
Not
was
qualified to talk about it then.
Oh,
Yeah.
George coming out with the snaps, considering we both never finished games.
You can't review a game unless you played through it all the way twice.
Unless you purchased it twice, I think should be the new standard. Unless you double dipped and you bought it both on PC and on console, you are not the authority in which you can review a game.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. There's gonna be a lot of people who play Cyberpunk and they're gonna be like, oh, it's amazing, and they probably play through like half of the game. It's just gonna be great. I can't wait for those reviews to come out.
It's funny you bring that up. Did you see the thing that was going around on Digital Foundry the other day? Like,
no,
the guy,
I'm like been avoiding things.
John Lineman. No, it was about Dirt 5, and it was about, this kind of smart delivery stuff that both the Xbox and the PS5 are doing, like where you can buy like like a current, I want to say current gen, but we are in the current gen. The Xbox Series X and the PS4 5 are out now, so they're the current gen, right? Or are they still next gen?
Is that what we're gonna? Yeah. When do we change? What's the deadline?
Yeah, I imagine when they release, right? Because they're the current gen. That's what's out. So, but I don't know.
They're
Anyways,
still expensive.
So the new gen. No, even the PS4 is still expensive. The new gen, but they have the smart delivery service thing where you can have backward compatibility games from the previous gen, PS4 and Xbox One, and then you can get those versions. So for like Cyberpunk, you can get the Xbox One version and then play it on Series X later because it's got the optimized for Series X, and then on PS5 it's got the smart delivery or whatever it's called. But like it was back and forth, and he was posting settings about like 4K settings or something for Dirt 5, image settings and stuff, and then somebody was adamant. Like this guy, just rando on Twitter, was like, "No, you're a liar. You're telling lies. I'm playing this game on my PS5, and those settings are not there."
What?
And then they were having a back and forth, like sending pictures of their screens to each other, and the guy from Digital Foundry is like, "What are you talking about? Like they're right here. I can see them." And the guy's like, "No, they're not." And it came down that it found out that the guy, the rando, had actually installed the PS4 version of the game on the PS5 instead of the PS5 version of the game, which had like 120 hertz and 4K and all this kind of stuff.
Oh shit!
That's confusing.
So, like, how confusing is that? And that,
how disappointing is that? Oh man, he's disappointed for sure.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like, how do you know without it telling you? Like, unless it's like you're playing the PS5 version or something.
And the price tag has to be different too.
Well, that's the thing with smart delivery and stuff, right? You don't pay anything, right? Your digital version that you purchased on the PS4 store is going to be, it should just appear or something. Like and supposedly it's a really complicated process on PS5. On Series X, it doesn't seem to be that difficult. But
I seriously wonder how Grandma's going to do it this holiday shopping season.
I'm going to buy my son an Xbox One X, the brand new console.
Will that be an Xbox Series X, an Xbox One X, an Xbox Series X, or an Xbox
Talking
One
about the smaller,
X?
slim one.
Wait, there are two smaller slim ones.
You've seen the box art, right? Liam, you have to have. Like the next gen Xbox games have almost the same packaging.
They do, but they say in the top corner, optimized for Series X. If it's a game that's released cross generation, like Dirt 5 or something like that. Like for example, Valhalla. If you look on the box for Valhalla, it says optimized for Series X.
I'm sure that's fine for
Optimized.
us, but what about Grandma?
Wow, it's the same with the Wii and the Wii U.
Grandma's not looking for that.
Grandma's going to the Wii aisle instead.
She's like, I remember learning about the Wii and the Wii U. I'm not doing this shit again.
I feel so bad for Grandma.
Poor grandma.
Especially Grandma this year.
Hey
Woo!
man, anybody's grandma who's spending $500 on a new console, fair play to that grandma.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a nice grandma.
I think at this point, people are used to it. Like, are you trying to get a new console or an old console? Well, how much does it cost? That's where. No. Usually you say, oh, it's like $500 for this console. Yeah.
For any grandmas listening, that's how you navigate the video game market. You can tell which one's the new one by the price tag, not the
Yes.
name anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like definitely this holiday, the Series S is going to be like the top selling console because one, it's half the price, and two, it looks kind of similar to the old one. They're going to be like that one, the white one. Or how many people want their sons or daughters are like, I want the PS5, the white one. And they go to the store and like, oh, can I have the new white one? And they get given a Series S instead.
We've talked about that, right? Like, what conspiracy happened that made all the big electronics this year white? Like what boardroom meeting?
Series X isn't. It's matte black.
The Series S, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a
A
nice
little
looking-
reverse Oreo for the Series S.
Oculus
Ooh.
Quest 2 is white.
Yeah.
The
milky.
3080 series, the one they revealed on the stage, I think had a white plastic backing on it when he was holding it up in that popular memeified image.
I'm becoming more of a fan of the way the PS5 looks. It's very aerodynamic.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not offended by it. I just think it's a fascinating trend / coincidence / 2020 quirk that going white. I do wonder how well it'll age, though. Like, what if it turns yellow in 10 years?
I don't think it's going to do any. I mean, Dreamcasts. Well, actually, some of them are yellow as well, aren't they?
Yeah, there might be all sorts of
Dreamcast and all that. Yeah, they turned yellow.
suspicious.
What is the most recent? There are some like older, like Xbox 360s, like the original Xbox 360s. Those white ones, are they yellow now? They're not yellow, are they? They use a different paint, right?
They get red rings instead.
Oh yeah, they just stop working.
Right.
What would you rather have? A console that just doesn't work, or a console that works but looks like you've been smoking 40 a day for the past 10 years?
I think we need to have a talk with Super Nintendos of the world out there about this habit.
Wait, the Wii and the Wii U is white as well. Wii's aren't
Oh
turning
yeah,
yellow.
those are fine. Those are like glossy and shiny.
You can throw a Wii out of a window from like a 10-story building and it will still work. The Wii is so durable. That little square box.
I miss Nintendonium. Like the Switch is really the first Nintendo console in a long while that feels fragile.
Yes, it does feel like you're holding a piece of technology in your hands. So Matt, are you gonna carry on with Iceborne? Like, are you
Iceborne.
That's where we
No,
were.
it's totally fine. I'll just sit in the corner. It's fine. No. Yeah. I'll continue.
What monsters what are you hunting at the moment? Because we have a lot of Monster Hunter players in our community on the Discord, don't we? They play.
Yeah, Web was hitting me up too. What am I at? I'm not too deep. in there. I got the Iceborne like a couple play sessions ago, and I think I'm starting to get to the harder monsters now. The ones that kick your ass and toss you around.
Nice.
I'm at the chin checker, the one that the wall that you hit, where it's like, oh, this monster means business. It's like this dragon that constantly moves, constantly spins his tail, constantly blows his little freaking hot, icy breath on you and spins you around.
Ooh.
Someone knows. It's like the most fucking annoying thing ever. That one killed me. We like 3 times, like, and that's like 30 minutes of my time just gone, just disappear.
He just blew it away.
He blew it away. Like we were so close, and then he just.
Is it one of the Elder Dragons? That's what they are, right? In Iceborne.
I don't know if he's an elder dragon. I don't know the difference, to be honest. I don't really listen to the story. I kind of just
nobody does.
Just skip it.
Just hunt monsters.
I'm a huge fan of like climbing on the back of a giant mountain-sized animal gimmicks, and Monster Hunter World had some good ones. Like the Elder Dragon levels, I have fond memories of those chunks.
You have a claw now. I don't know if it was in the first one, but you can claw people now, and you just jump on them and you slice them up, and mid-air you're just constantly fighting them, and if they toss you off you can claw them again and get back on it. It's the most fucking awesome thing to watch and do. Oh man, God. And if like you and your friends are doing it at the same time, you're just right, and then you hit them down and then do your special moves. There's something so satisfying about those weapons.
What weapon are you using? I think
I am doing the charge blade.
Nice.
I remember you liking the charge blade.
The
Yeah,
charge
I
blade
did it in
rules.
3DS version, and that was fun.
Charge blade is what I used in World 2.
Oh yeah, I did light bowgun, a little bit of light bowgun near the end of the first game, but yeah, I switched it back up because I just really like setting up combos, and I like the mechanics. You know, it's more satisfying to learn a weapon that you have to kind of like pay attention to, because the setup to hit that huge spike of damage and get the monster right there in that perfect corner, slam it on his head, boom, boom, it's satisfying. It never gets old. It never gets old. Yeah, it's surprising that the combat and stuff is and the monsters are so good, and yet it's in this game that is a clusterfuck.
That sounds like a Japanese Capcom
that's like
game.
the only reason. Yep. That's like the only reason why
Can't be straightforward.
It can't be. No, you have to go here.
I'm watching some
here.
footage of like charge blades and Iceborne, and I really want to play.
No, it's good. You just gotta go through hell in order to get to that point.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's the whole starting again, and that 50 hours.
It's daunting. It's daunting. It's like okay, this is what we call it. It's like that's the meat of the game, right? But you have to eat your vegetables first. Okay, so you have to do that.
60 hours of eating veg before you can have some meat.
Yeah, it's to get your 2 hours of eating meat.
Oh, God.
I've been playing Tales, but
oh, yeah.
like every time you play, you take a break and you come back to a game, it's either going to be really good or really bad, right? Like your mind is fresh and new, and you're like, oh yeah, man, I enjoy Tales. Let me pop it in. And all of a sudden the acting and everything just sounded so bad to me. I was like, what is happening? I thought this was okay. I don't know what went on.
Snapped out of it.
I just got really, like, I sucked out of it. I'm like, oh no, do I have to find another game? No, I don't want to finish this. I already put 18 hours into this. I need to finish it.
you got stuck under the cringe curve. Like you get used to it after a while. Yeah. But then when you like first hear bad anime voice acting, it's like, oh, I'm cringing.
I started noticing that he ends his words like this, and like he's sounding it out, and I'm like, oh, come on, guys, like, what is this? It's only the main character that does that, and I'm starting to notice it. I'm like, no.
I'm just imagining what his mouth looks like in the voiceover booth.
Oh man, he's like curving his mouth.
Whoa. Like a Pringles can.
But the crystal must be stopped. Yeah, it's like, no. It's like, no, come on. It's like he's enunciating. I think there's certain sections of the game where the voice acting kind of dips. It's happened before. It dips and then it goes back up. It's like they had like a bad session or something. Because this is a lot of voice acting, man. This is over probably like weeks or months. It's a lot of voice acting.
Chrono, charge your frenzy tech to take on Magus. Magus.
Yeah. But there's nothing coming out because no one wants to come out right before Dragon Quest and Cyberpunk. And
I like how you put Dragon Quest before Cyberpunk.
because no one's going to be thinking about Dragon Quest after Cyberpunk. The people who wanted to play Dragon Quest have already played Dragon Quest and they're ready for Cyberpunk. Because there's nothing out other than like the exclusives for Xbox and PS5. I don't even know what the Xbox exclusives are, but the exclusives, Demon's Souls and Miles Morales and all that, like all of those exclusives. It's like I don't want to go out and buy a console just to play these games right now. If I can even find one.
Just came out, but let's see, like what's all on the slate for within the next 2 weeks. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 apparently is an upcoming release. Devil May Cry 5, the next gen edition's coming out.
I thought that was out already.
GameStop has it at December 1st. Maybe it's out in Japan.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, there's a new Fire Emblem.
No, it's the. I mean, yes, technically, but no, because it's a re-release. It's the first ever official translated release of the original Fire Emblem. They did a remake of it for the DS or the GameCube. I can't remember.
What is Halo Infinite looking like right now? Okay, delayed to 2021. Yeah, that's
it's
site I'm looking at needs to update their list.
They need to get a mechanic on that game. All right, they need to look under the hood of that thing.
Wait. This is actually a good opportunity. I see on the docket that Liam has been cracking out some old Halo.
Yeah, like I just wanted to see how it, because I played the PC version of Halo Reach last year, and I just wanted to sort of see how Halo is running on Series X, right? Because on Game Pass it has all of the Halos up to Halo 5.
I love this segment. Liam plays old games on new console.
Series X. Yeah, thank you. I love you
kind
too,
of like it.
So I wanted to see how, because obviously Halo Infinite's not here, even though it's emblazoned on the box on their Series X box.
That's so sad.
It's on the back of the box. Like you could tell they thought that game was coming out for sure. They thought it. It's on the back of the box. But a friend of mine, another game developer friend I was talking to, he said he was playing Halo Reach, and we both agree that's our favorite Halo, hands down. We talked about this, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And Reach is the best. And he was like, yeah, on Series X, it's like HDR, 4K, 60 frames. And I was like, oh, damn. I kind of want to give that a go. So I installed the massive 112 gigabyte Halo Master Chief Collection.
So you have room for one more.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, I've not been disappointed so far. I have like at least 15 games installed, and they're big games, and I still have about 200 gigabytes left out of that terabyte. It's not too bad. I don't know how other people could play more than that, to be honest, at any one given time, but I still have a fair amount of storage.
Well, it's because you don't have Call of Duty on.
No, but I do now have 112 megabytes. 100 megabytes. That was the original Halo Reach. Now 112 gigabytes of full Master's Chief on there. But no, I started just playing through some Halo Reach. Like, I know that game pretty, like the back of my hand, and just started playing through. And man, whatever they did to old Halo, those games like don't age. Yes, it now has 4K and 60 frames, but the art direction, even though and that's the thing about Halo, is that when you look at it, you're like, that's Halo, right? With Call of Duty, you could look at the screen of Call of Duty, you're like, which Call of Duty is that? And is it Battlefield? Is it this PUBG? Is it like, I get it, but like with Halo, you're like, that's Halo, right?
It looks and feels unique.
Yeah.
Like the bounciness and the smoothness and the like slow pacing of it all is something, that's a feel that you don't get in many other places.
Exactly, right? So it's like, it's Halo. And then jumping straight into, Reach again after a while and, playing in 4K with, the simulating HDR that it uses or whatever. It's good looking game and it feels great and sounds great and I'm having a blast and it kind of makes me want Infinite. It makes me want to see what they're doing, even though the first impressions didn't look so great, right? But think about the original Master Chief Collection, because oh boy, that was a mess, wasn't it? It made me a little sad that we didn't get Infinite at launch. Because imagine if Infinite did come out, regardless of those first impressions, I imagine they'd pull it out of the bag in some way. It's Halo. It kind of did make me a little sad that there wasn't that new Halo that is emblazoned on the back of the box with your new Series X to see that next gen Microsoft. And it felt like a bit of a missed opportunity. Well, of course it is, but Halo Reach is good enough anyway. It's a great game. So I've been playing that. I started to play Gears 5, but I only did the training mission. But I would tell you what, that game also looks very, very good. Alongside Forza Horizon, like the optimized for Series X games, they've put a bit of money into to really bring them up to excellent 4K and running at a complete locked, smooth 60 frames. It was good. It was real good. So I started playing that as well. I'm starting to broaden my horizons a little bit. Like these games, especially Gears, is not typically something I would play. Gears Tactics was much more my speed, which I also did download and have yet to play it on Series X though. Definitely trying everything. Like Game Pass, man. Just this, it's this open world of like Game Pass is an open world, right? And then every game in Game Pass is a side quest that you get distracted by. And that's why you never finish games, because you just keep getting distracted by the side quests of Game Pass. You're like, Cricket 20. That's a new game that I've never seen before that I definitely am going to install and play for 10 minutes and then never play again. Ooh, look, Halo, that old game you really like that you really want to play. Ooh, Banjo-Kazooie. Ooh, Destiny 2. Ooh, Forza Horizon. Like, it's never ending. Ooh, I'm going to spend 30 hours playing Skate 3 recently. Ooh. It is. I'm
30 hours?
Lost.
Holy shit.
I've listened to a lot of podcasts while just mind-numbingly doing 360 flips over and over again.
Oh my God.
It's a really good meditative style of play. People will be proud. I'm playing Yakuza all the time, every day. I'm like 25 plus to 30 hours in that game now. And I'm having a blast. Is it still good? It's still good, and it's getting better. And I don't want to talk about it really until I get towards the end or finish it, because I feel like I've summed up my sort of main thoughts so far. But do you know what?
It's worth the 60.
Do you know what? Like, it's so weird. We've talked about story in video games before, right? And how we get disappointed by it. And sometimes, video game stories just don't rack up. Mm. But man, the story, for as fucking kind of stupid as it is in Yakuza, the character development moments are so good, and the characters are so great.
I love the fact that a week ago you were talking about how well the game did issues of like homelessness and urban blight. And then as the week went on, a whole bunch of long ass think pieces on Vice and Polygon sure enough showed up about like why Yakuza humanizes the homeless. I'm really, really tickled by this game, and I do want to play this more than the others.
Like it's weird because like the other games never. I mean, they touched on obviously the crime underworld of Japan, but they didn't really touch on like the really sort of like the people who get wrapped up in all of the side effects of crime, like people who run prostitution, people who sell drugs, people who do this and this, the people who are not actually Yakuza, who end up being either killed, or they lose loads of money, or they go to jail. Like the people who are on the fringe or the periphery of crime in Japan, who then end up being cast out by society and then have to sort of fend for themselves, like the homeless and like people who, sort of live in the seedy underbelly of Japan. And Yakuza 7 deals with a lot of that, and a lot of the first 20 hours you're playing is going through meeting people who work all these shitty jobs in Japan and who are like the other side of society. These people who've been cast out from normal Japan. And it shows you that there is a darker side to Japan, and that one isn't so great. But the characters and the people you meet, and especially the main characters, I've got to say, like, this is my favorite cast. I love Kiryu, I really do, but you cannot beat Yakuza 7 for like a cast of characters so far. Like, all of them. The main party is fucking amazing. And the moment to moment, like, you can bond with them and you can go like drinking, and then they'll tell you a story over like a whiskey and stuff like that. And they'll tell you about their backstory. And some of them are really heartbreaking. Like, it's really thought out, well written. Almost, it's like a drama. It's like watching a J drama.
Okay. Looks like I'm going to have to play some Yakuza.
I think you would have a great time with it. I think there would be some things that would really annoy you, but I think considering the quality of life changes they made, because it's a quote next gen game, right? It runs a lot faster and everything is pretty speedy. The stuff that gets in the way of what makes Yakuza games slow is kind of less there now. I think considering you like RPGs, you will like the battle system. It's not as extensive, but it's still pretty fun, and you feel like you're beating people up. But the story, like Kasuga and Namba, they're so great, and Adachi. And then recently I met the last party member, and like all the story around her, and I'm going through a storyline associated with her right now, and it's like the lengths they'll go to sort of help each other out and do stuff is crazy, and they all hate each other, but then it's that kind of like, I hate you but I love you, really. And it's cute. It's great.
So this whole Dragon Hero Edition, Dragon Legendary Hero Edition, which one did you buy, and does it?
I don't know. Like the standard one?
Oh yeah, that's right. You did say you bought the standard one. Okay.
I don't even know. Hang on. I actually have the Xbox app on my phone, so I can see what games I have.
Oh no, I remember you saying that you had to dig for it.
I'm fully in.
Oh my god, look at this
what
guy.
Games?
Look at this guy. He just showed his phone and the Xbox symbol just popped.
It did. I'm fully in. Look, I have 189 manage installed games. Will it tell me?
Well, what is your achievement points?
Look, here we go. Look at all the games that are on my Series X. That's a fair amount.
That's a fair amount.
It's a new account actually, because I actually lost my Xbox 360 account. Yeah, I lost it. So this is a new one, and I have 895 gamer score. And that's just from me playing Series X games. So I feel that's pretty good.
This is not on Game Pass, right?
Oh, that's right. That's what I wanted to do.
So there's a separate app for Game Pass. And then through Game Pass you can install games. I don't know, Matt. It just says Yakuza Like a Dragon. So I think I think
it's the standard. I remember you telling me it's the standard. What do you think is the first game I've played on Xbox 360?
Crackdown 2.
Mm-mm.
Crackdown.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
3.
Too Human.
Oh, okay. If it's a weird one, I'm gonna say
it's
Too Human is close. Too Human is 6th to last.
Burger King Sneak King.
Oh no, I
Darn.
wish that would have been a good one.
Sure.
This one's not quite as elegant.
Did you get the Xbox game? Did you get the Xbox Game Pass? Did you get the 360 later in its cycle, or more near the beginning?
I think more later. No. I had the blades. I had the blades.
Oh, okay, that's pretty early. Then.
Yeah,
that's pretty early days. Oh, Peter Jackson's King Kong.
All right, so let me give you a hint.
Geometry Wars.
It's a spin-off game from a character that's in an X-Men series.
Oh, is it the Wolverine game?
Was it the movie one though? It was the movie one, right?
X-Men Origin Wolverine.
Yes,
X-Men Origins
that was a good game. Really gory.
Yeah, I remember it was controversial for the M rating
Yeah, it had a lot of gore.
for a X-Men game.
The next one is Lego Star Wars, which is quite interesting.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think I was
those are always
playing that with a couple people. Yeah.
chill fun.
It was chill fun, yeah. Fallout 3 is down at the bottom. GTA is down at the bottom. Red Faction Guerrilla is down at the bottom. So is Mass Effect and Two Human.
Hey, your favorite game of all
The
time.
big fave.
Yeah. I got 60,000 achievement points. Jesus Christ.
Whoa. Big
Jesus.
gamer score Matt over here.
Dude. Big game score.
Swinging his big gamer store around.
I haven't. It's because I used to actually like go through all these and get the achievements. Now I barely do that. Like I'm looking at all the games I recently played. Barely got achievement points for these things.
How do we get this list? I want to see what mine is.
Oh, it's on the Game Pass. I'm using my original Xbox.
Oh wow, you carried it over onto. Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
cool. I wish I did that.
It's logged into my computer.
I wish I cared about gamer score like I did when I was younger.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Gotta get those
really enjoyed it.
achievements.
Yeah. I do still like hearing the pop from Game
The boop?
Pass. Boop. Yeah,
I
love
do.
hearing it.
But in Yakuza, I got really annoyed because I've had a few achievements pop while subtitles are on the screen, and then I have to literally pause the cutscene to wait for the pop of the achievement thing to go away, so then I can carry on reading the subtitles.
My God.
Like it just gets directly in the way. It pops up from the bottom of the screen, covers the subtitles, and I'm like, "Yo, dude, chill out." I'm trying to watch a cutscene.
I'm just having nostalgia. My first one was Dead Rising.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a good
yeah.
one.
that was my first. That and Crackdown.
Yeah, that was kind of a system seller, as I recall. Like,
with
that
the
was
tiny text that nobody could read.
only on SDTVs if you were a peasant.
I was a
Oh my
peasant.
God.
Yeah, I feel bad for you.
I
I bought
definitely was a
a
peasant.
I bought a computer monitor adapter, so I wouldn't have to put up with that shit because I didn't have an HD TV until like a few years ago, actually.
Oh man, 360, a good time. Series X also a good time. Surprisingly, I'm really enjoying it.
Man, I'm all nostalgic for Dead Rising now. Thanks.
Yep, time to load it up.
Shame where that series went.
Time to load
Yeah.
it
So
up.
well, there you go. Playing old Halo games is a nostalgia trip for all. I am enjoying the fact that there are just 360 games within reach that I can play. I installed SSX as well, but I haven't played it yet. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. Oh, the nostalgia gland is being hit every day, and I don't care. I'll bow to its whims. It's good fun.
I don't think I'm looking at the same list as you guys, though. It's not as comprehensive as I'd like.
Well, mine is brand new, so mine doesn't have anything. I wish I could find my old. What, Matt? What is your game? What is your game attack name?
I still kept it. I want to change it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I first got my gamer tag, right? It was when I was in I want to say the real story. I was in a homeless shelter, right?
Oh my god.
And we had like a little rec room, and I was like the only one like working, and there was a bunch of kids that lived next to us. Like it was like room based. It was a homeless shelter that you can actually have like a room for each family. And we had like a rec room where we did art with the art teacher and shit like that. And I got an Xbox, and in that Xbox, I had to make a gamer tag to go online because we were playing Halo and shit. And, so I would basically like have like something for the kids to play. And they were like a little bit younger than me at the time. This was like around after high school. So we're all like 18, 17. I just picked something at random, and it was they used my name. It was Watchful Matt, right? Watchful Matt.
Watchful Matt. That's good.
Watchful Matt. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that works, whatever. And then eventually, like a couple years down the line, I switched it to Watch Format. Like watch format.
Like as
I
in
said
the
watch
number?
format. Huh? No number. Just watch format.
Watch format.
And that's been my name for years, dude.
Watch for Matt.
Watch for Matt. Yeah. And people used to, all back in the days, man, people used to make We used to do jokes on people's names. It's like, oh, we gotta watch from that, huh? We gotta watch from that, huh? All right, yeah. And they used to say that beat in the pre-lobby, and we dust them, and it'll be like, yeah, you gotta watch for me, bro. You gotta watch for me. Like, it's man. I love the old days talking shit. Gears of War lobbies were great.
What was your gamer tag? Your 360 gamer tag name?
I think it's Riff1BW, like it is.
Okay.
On a lot of other platforms. It's an ancient name stemming back from a time before time.
So I've never been somebody who sticks with a gamer tag. Like I do now. I keep it.
I was
super
11.
generic.
I was 11 when I came up with that name. And that was my MSN account on a 56K modem that gradually migrated over to all the other Microsoft stuff.
Mm.
It went from MSN to Hotmail to Xbox.
So I get mine now is pretty standard and has been for a few years, and I keep it that way now. It's some variation of just my name and then some other stuff after it. But when I got a 360 when I was in uni. I had a PS3 for most of the time, so I didn't get a 360 until pretty late. Probably when Halo Reach came out, actually, maybe 2008.
Oh wow! No, yeah. Halo Reach was like a 2011 game. Like that was
maybe but it was like my first year of university, so it was pretty late into that. I had a PS3 for a while, so. And then the idea of making a gamer tag was like super exciting because I knew everybody got achievements and I was just stuck with trophies and I didn't want to copy my stupid PSN name, which was my weeby name. So I lived in a house in university and we all skateboarded. So at the time we said the word steez. I don't know. Do you say that in America? Steez, like STEEZE.
Steez. I don't know what you kids are talking about.
It was like in skating or something. It was like if you did a trick, you'd be like, "Oh, dude, that was so steez!" Like that was awesome. It basically meant, but I always misheard it as cheese.
That's
like
cute.
I thought people were like, "Oh, cheese!" Like that was so cheese. I don't know. Like maybe it was like shit or something, or maybe it was just like easy. But no, it was steez. So my gamer tag was steez on toast, the most British misnomer of a name I could come up with, and that's the one that's dead to the world now, it seems, which is a shame. Good old steez on toast. Time to retire.
I've never seen you be steez on toast.
No, I know, that's the thing, right? Like I didn't have an Xbox One, so completely skipped the previous generation, so it went from now, and I tried to get a hold of that account, but it seems like I just couldn't. Whatever email address or whatever I used for it at the time has now just disappeared to the world. So, Steez on Toast is retired.
I wonder if you still have to call in a phone number to cancel an Xbox Live subscription.
There was a time where you had to transfer them, right? Like there was an email going around or something. I can't remember.
Back in the day when I canceled mine, I had to like tell a lady on the phone why. And I remember telling her like, I don't know. I just seem to be like getting older. I don't have as much time for it anymore, and it's not as thrilling as it used to be. I think I'm just outgrowing it. And she was on the other side of the phone going, "Oh yeah, that's fine. We hear that a lot." And now it's like 10 years later, and no, I fucking haven't. I'm still here. I'm still talking about video games every week on the podcast, and occasionally making videos. This week I'm going to be doing a games for my inbox finally, which will have a little the silly ending rant about Curse to Golf.
Oh my god, I featured in a Bunny Hop video.
But before we get to that, I think it's about time to start begging the question if he should stay or you should go. If there'll be trouble or if you'll make it double. How are you feeling, Liam? How's your head? I'm a tired boy, but I was pretty sleepy. But then I saw both of your faces. Oh,
I woke up.
So let's just skip the news. Let's just like run.
It's fun news this week. We got one bad topic, one fun topic. It's fine. We can do it fast. But yeah, Liam, how you feeling? Because before the podcast, you said you were fading. You were dozing.
I was fading. I mean, today's been one of those game development days, guys. That will be those fabled days, those long days.
Whether or not you stick around for the video game news, you do have some Dad and Sons news for us.
I do, and I wish we did some sort of jingle of this, but we'll just maybe in the future. But oh my god, guys, it's happened. Coming, hopefully pending approval and bureaucracy, is Dad and Sons merchandise. Dun, dun, dun.
Wow.
Whoa. And the design is really good. I mean, really good.
We have t-shirts, but the design can be printed onto anything you like. Hoodies, t-shirts, sweatshirts, crew shirts, children's t-shirts, mugs, masks,
God.
because we're living in a 2020 pandemic world. We have all that you can cater for going on from the winter to the spring to the summer, and it's going to be coming to you live at tpublic.com/dadandsons, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Look for links in the Discord and the Twitter and everything like that. Our first ever designs, as Matt mentioned, the designs are fantastic. They are by our community manager, Zig Puska. Emmanuel, thank you so much. He's done an incredible job. 2 different designs, 1 colored variation, 1 black and white variation. It is the Dad Select shirt. Choose your dad. The 3 of us in our natural habitats. Yeah. Me getting a hernia, Matt finishing games, and George struggling to play VR with Wiimotes.
Oh, I look buff in this. I look muscular.
We all look super buff. Matt has like smoke coming from his like controller in his hands. It's incredible.
I don't understand how he got that right, because that's literally like I have my keyboard in front of me, which I also use, and then I have my controller. Like, this is weird. It was just weird. Like right here, I can show you guys. Like, literally, this is my setup right here. It's like he's been inside my room. I was like,
you heard it.
Wait, what?
I heard the sounds of your setup.
Oh I just want to point out like some details. Like, I mean, we got the smoking coming off Matt's, like, you know, him finishing games, incredible. I want to point out a couple of details in each of us. One, Matt's beard in this is mwah, it's magnifique. It is truly representative of Matt's beard. George's hair looks exactly like George's hair does in real life, which is incredible. Thanks. And you have me popping a hernia with that face of me. So it truly represents the 3 dads. It is the Dad Select shirt. You can print it onto anything. The TeePublic store will go up, but it will be out by the time you hear this podcast, if all has gone well. Go to tpublic.com/dadandsons and you should be able to find it. That's it. We have merch. We did it. We got off our asses and did it. And the design is fantastic. We really took our time with it. And yeah, big thanks to Zig Puska for their awesome design. On with the show.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you just to double confirm, you think you can stay awake through the following problematic news story?
Well, I just took a look at the shirts again, and I'm like, I'm pumped. How can I not be here?
You know what? Instead of going straight into Nintendo being dicks, let's do a wee bit of a more positive spin, and that is the IO Interactive James Bond game they've teased. Is that shit not the coolest?
That shit is the coolest.
That shit is the coolest.
What a perfect blend of two things.
I know I am not the only one. And Matt made a video back in the day for Hitman 2016 where you noticed the same thing. Hitman nowadays has pretty much turned into like the James Bond game that we've always been wanting.
Yeah. Oof. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, like rarely we're like, I don't know. You know, most of the time we kind of be like, oh, okay, you know, we'll wait till it comes out. But like it just sounds too perfect. It just sounds too perfect. It's Hitman. The guys who make Hitman, they're good. They're good. They make Hitman games, and there's so many ways to do things. That's exactly what you want in James Bond 007 game.
And,
Right.
and when you watch a James Bond movie, it's most of the movie is basically like James Bond being kind of a dick to everyone in a bunch of wacky disguises.
But that's what I'm so interested in, right? Obviously, 47 doesn't really talk that much, quite a
Mhm.
stoic character. Whereas James Bond is this quippy, jokey one-liner of a guy who kills people ruthlessly, but then ends it with a pun. How are they going to pull that off? That's when I if you can kill somebody and when you kill them, you time a button press and you say a pun at the same time, I'm going to be in heaven. Like you throw somebody in a freezer and you're like, stay cool, bitch. As they die, that would be the true James Bond experience.
I don't know if the gendered slur was necessary, but
Right. They have to get a very charismatic voice actor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
but yeah,
So what do you think? Like, do they do a current Bond or do they do a new one? Because I kind of want them to do a new Bond.
New.
New.
I don't want
I could go either way. I
But you
don't
mean-
care about the actor they scan in.
Oh, you're talking about using what's his name? Craig? Daniel Craig?
Yeah, like a likeness. So the story
new
story
one.
is a prequel. So the story is a prequel before he's 007. The story is about him getting his 00 status, according to IO.
Yeah, which is cool as
Yeah,
fuck.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what Casino Royale was about, though?
No, I mean, Casino Royale in the beginning, the guy he shoots when it's all black and white, that is his 007 status kill. The guy in the bathroom and then the guy in the office. He says, like, don't worry, Bond, because the second kill is considerably more, and then Bond just shoots him, and Bond goes, yes, considerably, and then walks out.
Oh my god, wait, we totally glossed over a huge controversy. The next actor for James Bond is a black woman?
No, I don't think
What?
anything has been confirmed about who is the next Bond yet.
This is brand new news out November 5th on Esquire.com. Lashana Lynch confirms she is James Bond's new 007. Haters be damned.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wait. How is
yeah,
she gonna
I'll post a link.
I'm so wondering how that's gonna how they're gonna do it. Oh, that's right. She is in this one, right?
Oh, I can't believe they fucking went there.
No, she's in the new movie,
Yeah, she is.
and
Yeah.
she gets 007.
She
some
is
reason.
James Bond's new 007. So what is she going to be called? Jane Bond?
I don't know. Well, 007 is just James Bond's code sign, right? Like his
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin was Alec Trevelyan, Sean Bean was 006.
In my mind, I'm imagining Agent 47 as a sassy black woman with a sense of humor, like shouting one-liners after tossing people off ledges and poisoning their sushi. And it's fucking hilarious, and I kind of love it.
Wait. Why does she have to be sassy? What is this?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, James Bond.
Because the
James Bond's
humor,
pretty
right?
sassy
James Bond himself
anyway.
is sassy.
James
Right,
Bond
yeah.
himself is.
Don't
pretty
help
sassy.
him. Don't help him, Liam. Let him fall into that
I
hole.
know. I yeah. He doesn't help himself sometimes. Look, that's fine.
So anyways, IO Interactive, Hitman people, making a James Bond game. It's the gameplay, the humor of the studio, it matches so much better with the brand and the first-person genocide quantity shooters that have been given the James Bond license before in the past. Yeah, I would love to see a James Bond game that gamifies the social aspect of that character over the action scenes in the last 10 minutes of the movie that get stretched out into these huge shooter games that the character traditionally gets. This is cool. This is good. This is going to be fine. On to Nintendo. Nintendo was being a meanie big bully boy about a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament, which is a very familiar story that we've heard a couple times before. In this case, there's a new coronavirus spin on the story. The stickler is the tournament using emulators and ISOs. The organization was called The Big House, and they were going to be scheduling a online Melee tournament using an emulator called Slippy. Slippy has some modifications in it that make Melee more friendly for online play. play. They changed some menus and stuff in the game.
Makes Melee more, but you mean it makes it online? Melee was never online.
Well, you could do net play before in the past before Slippy.
But it's probably better, right? With Slippy, I'm assuming.
Could you?
Slippy's a new thing from this year.
Yeah, but I thought it was like a revolution. But anyway, besides the point.
Nintendo issued a cease and desist to the Big House, specifically citing that Slippy was the reasoning why this time. And I went on the website and checked Slippy out, and they don't host any ISOs of the game, which is technically the illegal part. It's been ruled in court. Emulators are legal. What's not legal is downloading pirated copies of the game. And the presumption I'm guessing Nintendo's lawyers had here is that for an online tournament using emulators, they're probably going to be using pirated copies of Smash versus the more traditional fighting game community tournament where they're playing on original hardware with original copies, which still has got cease and desists and takedowns by Nintendo before. Back in 2013, they did this when Evo was going to have a Melee tournament that only existed in the schedule out of a slot they won from a charity fundraising contest where they raised up like $96,000 for breast cancer research. Since then, Nintendo ended up reversing the decision and were allowing tournaments. Now they've gone back, and it's because of the presumption of emulators and ISOs being involved.
It's
I don't understand. Like, yeah, who's?
Well, Nintendo are notorious about you modifying their games, right? And this is technically a modification.
Yeah, it's like a build of an emulator that includes modifications.
You gotta remember, right? Like, what is it, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when like everybody was complaining about Nintendo like sending Evo legal threats because Nintendo were like 4 or 5 years behind every company about streaming, like for live events. Like they would not allow Melee, they wouldn't allow Smash. And it took them so long to then embrace that. And it wasn't until basically Smash 4 came out. I mean, during COVID as well, it's like, come on, considering how much virality you've seen through stuff like Animal Crossing about people sharing and streaming Nintendo stuff, like, fuck, who can even buy a copy of Melee these days?
There's a surprising, I don't know if it's surprising anymore. There is a portion of fans that are like defending their decision to protect their copyright. But at the end of the day, you got to think about like, what money are they making as a company by doing this? And / what product are we getting as a consumer from them doing this? I don't see how this benefits either side of the equation.
In this instance, it's just, I imagine straight up Nintendo just, this is in our, when you sign whatever agreement it is, the user agreement, like it's just in there and they have to activate that legally.
The presumption is that this stuff is usually allowed to happen until they say it's not.
Yeah, but we've seen with like we're talking about modifications of a game, right? Like you think of every fan project, Nintendo fan project, you think of the amazing Metroid 2 one a couple of years ago, all of the different like fan games of the Nintendo immediately cease and desist straight away. It's lame.
One of my favorites is really hard to find. If you've ever heard of Super Mario Brothers X, it was this wonderful mashup of Zelda, Mario, Metro, and Kirby NES assets plugged into a Game Maker game that had co-op that worked better than the new Super Mario Brothers series. And that shit is like, I think you have to go on the Wayback Machine to a CNET download page that was last updated in 2009 to find a copy of that game. And then the guy went on to make Terraria and had his own happy ending. But it still sucks that like a lot of early projects from young people early in their careers who don't know the ins and outs of the copyright law here will get...
It is a bit disappointing in this case, though, that the Big House, right? Obviously, they've been around for a while, like 5 or so years now, didn't reach out to Nintendo to talk about it first.
Would you really want to open that box, though? I'd almost rather be ignorant.
Usually when you're running an event, you usually partner with the game developer. Like people who run like Halo events usually used to have Bungie or Microsoft involved and stuff like that. Usually you would, like League of Legends events are not going to go ahead without Riot involved in some way, shape, or form. And it's it's more about just checking, right? Especially if something new is stuff. I mean, this is not me defending Nintendo at all. I think this is super lame, but in terms of like all of the rigmarole of hosting an event and creating it and trying to do it, and then not actually reaching out and being like, hey, Nintendo, is this going to be okay before we go ahead with this? But
they have developed a reputation of somewhat as a dragon you don't want to poke when it comes to fan-made community projects.
it is a bit like no face company, which we don't really have in 2020, right? Like every company has a community manager or somebody that is like a face entity that you can associate with that company for better or for worse.
They do some dumb shit though. They don't want to be the head of that. No one wants to be the head of that dumb shit that they be doing.
But that's the thing with Nintendo, right? It's still a mysterious, beyond like, you know, the management, you know, the Reggie Fils-Aimé's back in the past, there's no like specific, you know, entities that you can go complain to, which is that's when you can twist company arm, right? The more mysterious you are, the more like you look like a big machine like Nintendo does, the harder it is to be able to twist stuff like this into getting it to go forward, which is a bit disappointing.
There is a fairly clean and concise quote from their spokesperson. Nintendo appreciates the love and dedication the fighting game community has for the Super Smash Bros. Series. We have partnered with numerous Super Smash Bros. Tournaments in the past. Unfortunately, the upcoming Big House tournament announced plans to host an online tournament that requires use of illegally copied versions of the game in conjunction with a mod called Slippy during their online event. Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers to ask them to stop. They refused, leaving Nintendo no choice but to step in to protect its intellectual property and brands. Nintendo cannot condone or allow piracy of its intellectual property.
I mean, there you go, right?
Fuck that. No, but the court case that these rules have been laid out since 1999 in a court case between Sony and Bleem. And the rules were that emulators are legal and ISOs and ROMs of the games are legal so long as you have an original copy. So the statement that it requires a illegally copied version of the game, I don't think really holds water when you can dump, if you really freaking want to, if you as the tournament organizer want to make sure everything's in the clear, you could dump your own copy of Melee onto your own ISO and like hold it there next to the computer with like the barcode in view of a webcam or something. Like there should be some loophole here.
But it must be the way Slippy runs. I don't know how it works. I don't know how Slippy works, but it must be the way Slippy works. It must be emulating a pirated version of the game, right? Just the ISO on a server or something.
I don't think so. When you go to the Slippy website, they aren't hosting an ISO. The download is something like 20 megabytes. It's not the game. Melee can't possibly be in those 20 megabytes.
I don't know. It sounds like something is wrong.
Oh, it's
with
9
Slippy.
megabytes.
Sounds like Nintendo, really.
Sounds like Nintendo. I think this is more Nintendo than anything else.
But it's like torrents, right? Torrents are legal, like torrent clients are legal, BitTorrent is legal, but the torrenting itself, the act of the torrenting and stuff like that is what's illegal. I don't know. I mean, it's just software.
Yeah, the presumption is that there would have been illegal copies being used to facilitate the event, but I feel like, and the organizers might not have gone this extra step, but there would be a way in the concrete reality of the universe to make sure that there aren't illegal copies of the game being distributed. And then, when it also comes to Super Smash Brothers, you got to like consider, is Parsec illegally pirating a copy of Smash? Because I've played Smash with other people on their copy through Parsec when it's like streamed to me, and I'm playing it on my machine with no copy of my own. So what's the legality of that?
It must be something to do with the way Slippy works. Like Nintendo must have looked at it. Because otherwise, I don't know what legal stance they'd be able to send a cease and desist otherwise, right? I don't think Nintendo would send a cease and desist if they didn't have legal grounds to do so.
Well, I mean, they can, because they're a big company, and there's no way they can the big house can afford a lawyer to fight fucking.
That's what happened
Nintendo.
to Bleem. Bleem won the court case, but they still shut down because they couldn't afford the legal fees versus Sony.
Yeah, they can do whatever the fuck they want. They're a big company. That's what big companies do. They bully.
Oh, that's the thing, right? The law itself there benefits everybody who makes software that, you know, has to protect it. It's just that it does allow for bigger companies to abuse it when needs be, right? Piracy sucks in general for game developers, but I feel like in this instance, it's a case of like Nintendo reached out to them and they said no, so then they had to send a cease and desist. But if there was like a back and forth dialogue about what are the issues, maybe you can get around them. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of, well, it's Nintendo being lame, but the foresight, if like you're running an event with something you know is maybe going to be piss Nintendo off, I don't know. Feels also kind of like a stupid idea, but I don't know. It's complicated.
The Corona has fucked up a lot of these competitions and stuff like that, and that's them trying to find a way to return to some type of normalcy.
And yet it still feels like a blast from the past. This feels like a story from a few years ago. We've gone through so much over the past year, and despite all we've gone through, Nintendo still doesn't know how Twitch works.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I'm reading through Slippy, and it has portable replay files. So it's doing something to the Melee code itself to be able to gather that data. So it is modifying the game.
Yeah, but is that illegal if you have...
But it's not modifying your game. So it must be modifying something that is a version of Melee. So, and if it's just one, it's an ISO of Melee, that's a pirated version, or an unsanctioned version, then I don't know.
The stickler I'm getting at is that they're not hosting a pirated version of the game anywhere on this site.
Speaking of delusional,
that's what they should
the
get
Game
around
Awards.
Yeah, the Game Awards. We get to talk about the Game Awards again. I think this is the third time.
I can't wait to see these lists, George. Please. I can't wait to hear The Last of Us as part of the fucking game. Oh my God.
Have been announced, and yeah, I feel really out of touch when I look at this Game of the Year list, and then when I look at the multiplayer and indie list, like I'm like, oh yeah, I have been playing games this year after all. Yeah, Game of the Year. Are you ready, guys?
Nope.
Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Right. Okay.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay. Stretch. Now we're stretching.
Hades.
Okay. All right, yeah.
Doom Eternal.
Now we're really stretching. Okay.
Animal Crossing New Horizons.
No idea why that's on there.
I do. I know 100% why.
Because of COVID. It is there because of COVID.
It's like one of the most played games of the year. It's the highest selling game of the year.
COVID.
Popularity contest.
It's a popularity contest.
This is the first time I've actually played every game on a Game of the Year list. I played all those games.
You are the opposite of me.
It is weird because I do feel like none of them are really a game of the year. Like Hades is probably the best. Animal Crossing is the game of 2020. Like that's a different thing.
Yeah, that begs the question, is the Game of the Year the best game of the year or just the game that evokes the year? I hate this shit. Oh, all right, next category. Yeah, best game direction, which is apparently a different category.
Oh my God, we're not going to read all of these, are we? There's fucking like 40 of them. Jesus.
Wait,
are you ready for the list?
It's literally the same thing.
Last of Us Part 2.
Oh my God.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh my God.
Ghost of Tsushima. Hades, and then Half-Life Alyx shows up.
There's been other games this year, right? Like there's been other games. I just want to say that there's been other games this year.
Well, the best narrative might have been The Last of Us Part 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh my God.
Ghost of Tsushima. Hades. And then 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim shows up.
From what I've heard, that sounds like 13 Sentinels should win that.
Is it good?
I haven't played it myself.
Patchwolf said it was good. I don't know, man. When I saw the naked teenagers and the robots, I kind of clued out.
It's a vanillaware game. What'd you expect?
However, from what I have seen of Aegis Rim, I believe it might have been a better contender for the next category, Best Art Direction. Last of Us Part 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades. And then Ori and Will of the Wisp shows up because they're feeling like, a little diversity to spice up their life. Woo! You'll never, ever guess in a million years what the nominees for Best Music are.
Oh my God, please.
Last of Us Part 2.
Can we just skip to the one that has different Like Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2 featuring almost every single category.
We have to go long down the list to get a category that does not have these same 4 games, and it's comical.
Can we forgive me if we just go to best indie for a second?
All right. Best indie.
Can you read out best indie?
Carry On.
Matt would support that, right?
It's good. It's different. I don't know if it's best indie. Yeah.
Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout.
No.
See, I pick bones with that because I'm never, ever, ever going to allow you to fucking say an indie game that was made by like 100+ people should be in the indie category.
I was wondering if you'd have something about that. Yeah, it doesn't really.
Hades was made by like 15 people. No, come on, that's a bit more like it.
Cyberpunk is going to be best indie next year. Hades
is another best indie contender.
Definitely, yeah.
And I do believe it qualifies in the most technical sense, because wasn't it actually self-published this time?
I think it's always self-published, wasn't it?
They used Warner Brothers for Bastion.
Hades,
yeah.
Hades. Yeah, Supergiant publish all their own games. They do exclusive platforms sometimes.
Yeah. I don't play Spelunky, but I can see why it would be on that list. Like I respect it from a distance. I respect it. Like I know a lot of work goes into that. I will never be able to play that game. I will only play with somebody else, but that's pretty much it.
I'm surprised that Spiritfarer shows up. Now this is good news finally. I don't know what Spiritfarer is. This is cool. An award show shining a light on something I don't know about. Isn't that the point?
Yeah. It's pretty popular. I wouldn't say it's like out of nowhere. That's definitely
how out of the loop I am.
Something you would expect.
Yeah.
Pretty game.
Oh, you can build a boat.
Now I know what Spiritfarer is.
Yeah. I'll put this on a list. This looks cool.
Do you guys want to hear about the VR category?
Yeah, that seems interesting.
Half-Life Alyx is there as least surprising. Star Wars Squadrons as well. And they also included Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, which I've heard a lot of good about. Dreams, which is a PSVR thing. And then Marvel's Iron Man VR, which is also a PSVR exclusive thing.
Mm. I mean, yeah. This is a lot of stuff I haven't seen.
Also, Last of Us Part 2, Hades, and Ghost of Tsushima are not on that list, thank God. I can't get over how many duplicates there are in these first 8 categories.
I do understand Last of Us 2. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't.
That game is a lot. That's a lot. That game's a lot.
Best game direction, maybe, but best audio, I don't know.
I don't know if it's best everything. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know if it's best everything. But performance wise, Ashley Johnson should probably get that shit. Fuck that. I would say she's in the running for sure. There's no way Last of Us shouldn't be on that list.
How did you feel about Daisuke Tsuji as the Ghost of Tsushima?
I never played Ghost because everyone told me it was just like Ass Creed, and I just don't feel like playing another Assassin's Creed. So I'll play it eventually on PS5. So
that's the thing is I think Ghost of Tsushima really could be one of the better games of the now if you play it on PS5 in 60 frames and don't have the experience of it dropping all the time. Because I think Ghost of Tsushima is far better than any Assassin's Creed game I've played.
Yeah.
Like playing Valhalla and the beginning of it, it's so fucking slow compared to something like Ghost of Tsushima, and the combat feels so shit compared to Ghost of Tsushima personally. In terms of his performance, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I don't think Ghost of Tsushima is winning any awards on the old cutscenes and performance. If anything, Yakuza 7 should be fucking best performance for people.
You got Yakuza in the best RPG category.
So this is weird, right? Because you got best role-playing game, right? And you have best action game. But Assassin's Creed Valhalla's there, and Yakuza Like a Dragon's there. But where's Demon Souls and stuff like that? What is the category for?
Yeah,
What's the cutoff?
I was about to think maybe they didn't make it in time, but Yakuza and Demon Souls came out around the same time, didn't they?
Same week. I mean, Valhalla came out on the same day as Demon's Souls, I think.
Yeah, I'm not seeing like a lot of PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Yeah,
stuff,
Miles
like-
Morales is there.
Genshin Impact? What is this bullshit? Why is this on there? I mean, it was a decent game.
I mean, it's played like by 100 million people.
It's a decent game, but I don't. Oh my god! Wasteland 3, good game. Good game.
Best sim strategy, Crusader Kings 3. Okay, it's fine. The award show is saved. It's there.
Strategy.
That's all I care about.
Well, I mean, it's not many, right? Like they even have Gears Tactics and fucking. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Gears Tactics
Best
is a
sim
great
and strategy. Yeah. XCOM. I didn't know they had another XCOM. Desperados. Best sports game. We know these guys, right?
I know, man. Like, oh, look,
Yeah.
F1 2020's there. FIFA 21.
Woof.
Look at me. It's
Played
my
that.
favorite. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Best sports / racing game. What I want to... the best fighting is interesting.
Yeah. Same. I was looking at that. I was like, I don't know if I
Grand Blue Fantasy versus Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, a game that came out a couple of years ago. Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, a game that came out years ago.
Mhm.
One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, a game that nobody liked that came out.
Yeah.
And Under Night in Birth X later
What the
CLR.
But how do
Uniel
you
is
say
pretty good,
that?
though.
Yeah.
Under Night in Birth EXE late Calora.
It's good to see
Hello?
Among Us in best multiplayer. I know that's good. Warzone, I can see why that's on there.
Mhm.
It is fun, even though, best content creator of the year. What is this? That's right. They have this, right?
And then you get to the
Tim?
esports section.
Alana's cool.
Well, yeah. Does she actually create content though?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she doesn't anymore. She just joined Sony Santa Monica, right?
Oh, okay.
But she spent the past year making good YouTube videos. Yeah, I think she'll get it. I was reminded when making this list of how much better the GDC Awards show is.
But I don't know. I feel like the Game Awards, at least Keeley's honest about it. I mean, the problem is to fund this show, there has to be adverts, and always make it feel disingenuous.
This list feels disingenuous. I don't know.
It
about
always
this
does.
list.
It always does.
No, this list feels like what we'd expect. It's got The Last of Us. It's got Doom. It's got Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's got every big AAA release of this year in it. That's how the Game Awards have worked every year.
Yeah, it's what you'd expect if you have low expectations set by years upon years of this popularity contest bullshit being the normal now.
There's like actually no reason to fucking watch the show. That's what I'm saying. Like, I never watch the show because I look at this and I'm just like, this seems boring to me.
And every time I watch the GDC award, I have a blast. I always love the show. I love what a spotlight they shine on the workers, how they do an obituary segment. Like, I don't know what they did this year. It was broadcasted online, but last year they had a little segment about like the random black guy in the back of the Coleco office who invented game cartridges. And you're like, wow, how would I have known about that guy otherwise?
Yeah.
It's just the same as always, right? Let's be fair. They awarded Sekiro as the best game last year, so there is some legitimacy to the old Keeleys. It is always just the AAA titles. That's it. And I
How
mean,
could
that's
you
just
not?
what it is. I hope Hades wins, or I hope Animal Crossing wins, but
Hades
I
should win.
think Hades might win.
Yeah.
I know people hate me, but Last of Us 2 or Hades, I'm down with. Final Fantasy was unfinished, but I enjoyed it, but it was unfinished. But either one of those two, I'm fine, totally fine with.
This happened in the middle of the year, but I'm going through the winners of the GDC Game Developers Choice Awards from this year, and the game of the year they picked is certainly a surprise. Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah, but it was earlier this year, so it was the back of last year. So it's not actually this year.
Still, though, I fucking hated that game. Best design got Baba Is You, and that's something that would not happen in the Jeff Keighley Awards.
Yeah, because the GDC is the game developers conference. It's
Yeah,
game developers voting on other
good.
games.
Good.
It's not.
It's what I want.
Well, that's because you're part of the industry, I guess.
Yeah, they gave a Pioneer Award to Roberta Williams.
Yeah,
for
hell yeah.
inventing adventure games.
You mean people who actually pay attention to what goes on in the industry and reward people for actual work?
I don't know what game of the year is this year. I played a lot of different random stuff this year. I really enjoyed Crusader Kings 3. I'm really enjoying Yakuza 7. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list. My list is kind of small for
Wait, so
2020.
when does the award show happen? That means the Dad Awards must be coming up soon. Shit.
The Keyleys are going to be Thursday, December 10th.
Okay, so we've got a couple of weeks before we have to do the Dad Awards again and decide what we think is the right game of the year.
Let me get cracking on that Yakuza then.
You're gonna finish it before me, and that makes me really sad.
I'm gonna have to download this sucker right now, boy.
Yeah, I'll have to decide if it's going to be Hades or Star Wars for me.
Did you beat Hades?
Yeah.
He played a lot of it. Do you remember? He was playing for ages on his Switch.
I talked about how I shamefully, then not so shamefully, made use of the God mode to get to the end of it in time to make a video.
Oh, okay. So you didn't actually beat it, is what
Oh
you're
my
saying.
fucking God. All right, let's move on to listener questions. If you would like to send in your comments or suggestions or questions or quandaries, mail them into dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com. But I wanted to propose a new rule. Humble listeners, what if they ask us questions about anything? It doesn't have to be about games anymore. What if these questions can be about life and love and jobs?
I've always said that.
Do it yourself.
I've always said that.
I second that now.
But people have.
Ask us
People
how
have,
to,
yeah. People
People
have in
have.
the past.
ask us how to fix a clogged drain in your sink.
Do any of us know how to?
Relationship questions for George.
Ask us how to spruce up your resume if you are
No,
trying to get
no,
a
please
fun
don't.
part-time job.
Please don't. I'm over that
Just
part of my
please.
life, and I'm very happy that I'm over that part of my life.
Just no more crunch questions. Like, did that last week. Thanks to everybody who commented about it. Like, we're done now. We're done on that. We're done on industry problem
So
for like a year.
in
Yeah.
the spirit of getting a little freestyle with it, we have our first question from Giganticus Musicus, who
Mhm.
says, I don't keep my toothbrush in my bathroom because of poo particles. Curious if George does the same.
Wait, what? So where do you put it?
Good question. Thank you, Giganticus Musicus. I have traditionally kept my toothbrush in a zipped bag, a travel bag that I'll keep on in the bathroom by the sink for convenience, to make sure there is a solid sealed barrier between the poo particle infected air and the toothbrush itself. However, I've recently upgraded to a plastic tube that you know sometimes we buy a toothbrush and it comes in a plastic tube underneath all the packaging. I've decided to keep it around this time to form a hard membrane between the poo particle air and the toothbrush that goes in my mouth. Thank you, Giganticus Musicus. How about you guys?
No,
I live in Japan, so my toilet is nowhere near my sink or shower. It's in a completely separate room.
So you never brush your teeth with the spout that comes out the other end when you flush the toilet?
Nope. My toilet is completely in a separate room to my toothbrush, which is in my bathroom. Japanese people do
I
not
appreciate
understand how we put toilets in the same area as baths and
because
showers.
the poo particles. You don't want to shower yourself in poo particles.
Well,
Yeah.
so I didn't even think about this question, but then I was like, well, I guess it just Japan answered it for me.
Mine is just charging in the corner. I
Yeah,
have a long bathroom. At the other end is my toothbrush. At the other end is my
I play bowls in my bathroom. It's so long,
so long. Yeah,
so
it's-
long bathroom.
I have like one of those burst toothbrushes. Yeah, Yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Are the bristles still touching the same air?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god! I just
I
can't.
mean, I'm sure like the if what exactly is smell? Are those little particles that go inside your nose and you smell poop? Is that what you're talking about? And it just floats in the smell.
Is this kind of like the you eat 10 spiders a year kind of thing, where you never see it, you never feel it, but the fear is there? Is that how you feel?
Everyone smells
That sucks.
16.
I don't like that, Liam.
16 poo particles a year.
Every time you brush your teeth, you inhale 17 poo particles.
There's just a little speck, a little dot floating through the air, in everyone's droplets.
Yeah, the
like
dingleberry,
coronavirus.
like a really, really small dingleberry. Yeah,
like 2 nanometer nanomachine Deus Ex augmentations. What am I talking about anymore?
Matt doesn't care. You're odd, and I just have 2 rooms.
and fortunately for you, we do have more of a Liam question coming up next.
Oh no. Oh no.
Daniel Zha wants to know. Hey, Dad and Sons, this is more of a Liam question, but I'm playing Yakuza Like a Dragon and have been wondering how spot on the depictions of homelessness are. Does homelessness get brought up often in Japanese media? The only other times I've seen it appear are in the anime Hinamatsuri and Tokyo Godfathers.
No, not really. Not as far as I know. I'm not the expert on this, but from what I can see, not particularly. Homelessness in Japan is also something that's very swept under the rug. There are designated areas of Tokyo where homeless people live. They tend to live in what is like Yakuza 7, where they live in sort of a little encampment on a piece of land. But it's funny, actually. There's one homeless guy I see in Kyoto, and I think the police shove him along all the time, but he doesn't have any shoes, and he's not far from the queue office. Every time I cycle past him, I so desperately want to give him my shoes because I feel so bad for him, and he's the only homeless guy in Kyoto. I mean, he's probably not, but he's the only one anybody can see. But they tend to just get from areas that are heavily populated with tourists and stuff. They just get shoved away. But in terms of depictions of homelessness, Yakuza seems pretty tight. They live in a camp. If you watch any of the documentaries, especially related to Tokyo homelessness, especially in Ueno and stuff like that, there are basically camps. They're basically little what would you say? Immigrant camps, essentially. But I don't know how spot on the depiction is. It seems pretty good. I mean, if anybody's going to get a depiction of Japanese aspect of it, it's going to be the Yakuza series. So Number, the character from it, is awesome. He's so great. And the homelessness you experience in the game is pretty spot on. They're pretty poor and they do stuff like collect cans, and you see those people in Japan. So it must be pretty spot on. But there isn't much in the media, for sure, and there's definitely a reason why.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing a grand total of maybe 4 homeless people out of all the trips I've taken to Japan.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're just not anywhere. It's kind of sad. I really want to give this guy my shoes. He probably won't want them. He's probably not wearing shoes for a reason. He's just got loads of newspaper wrapped around his legs. I just really want to give him my shoes. I'm so sorry.
Going back to Georgia really made me remember how bad the homeless situation over there is.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Everywhere is in the city. Everywhere.
Yeah, I cannot walk across the street without
being haggled.
Without them.
Yeah. I got haggled at 5 a.m. when I was in the city that day.
Jeez.
Hey man, I hope you're a good judge of character.
That really puts you on the spot.
He did the whole spin on me, man. The whole spin on me. Dude, I have no cash on me, man. And it's extremely cold out here. It's man. Yeah.
Awkwardly moving on to the next one. Eric B says, when the excellent game Dead Cells was first announced, it got referred to as a Souls-like, roguelike Metroidvania, which at first which at first sounded ridiculous until I considered the alternative. If you look at the major storefronts, you're going to find lists with genres like racing and puzzle, but I'm not even going to try to explain what the words action, adventure, or RPG mean, since there is such a huge overlap within this fustercluck of a naming convention. The question is there a need for more game genres that end with the suffix like? Or is there even a need for the concept of game genres at all?
If there's one thing I've ever learned, is that you do not give yourself the moniker when you're marketing your game. Why would you compare your game to something that is the pinnacle of something, right? Like when you're trying to make a Souls-like game, why would you say that about your game? Because immediately it makes people want to go and play Souls games because they're the pinnacle of that series. Usually it's a moniker given to games by fans eventually. So you'd be like, oh yeah, this is a Spelunky-like, this is an Undertale-like or something after fans, but you never want to denigrate your own game to say something like that because you're just already, underselling your game for what it could truly be. I think in indie games, we definitely do need some more genre naming conventions, but like Souls, like Rogue, like Metroidvania, it literally makes me want to gag. It's fucking terrible.
Because it doesn't really explain the game at all.
No, and Dead Cells is a lot about loot. You could also say it's like a Diablo-like because you're just collecting loot all the time, but that doesn't fit into there. So
it's more of a Rogue
Souls-like
Metrovania.
Yeah, it's not really a Souls-like either. It's just hard. But then roguelikes are hard. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Whatever the difference is between action and action-adventure is completely meaningless at this point, and I no longer shop for games by the genre. Like, I haven't looked at those store tabs in years. It's more like I have a paragraph in my head about what the game's described as than a sentence.
Yeah, when I'm searching for a game in the freaking pile on Steam, like I have to go through all these genres and I have to like click like indie, RPG, blah blah blah, like I put them all together to try to create something cohesive enough to be like, okay, this is kind of what I'm looking for. Let me search 1,000 games to find out one that I want.
In some horrible, awful, terrible way, though, isn't calling Dead Cells a Metroidvania roguelike still more helpful than calling it an action adventure?
I mean, not really, because like you could be like a loot-based roguelike, I think would describe Dead Cells a bit more than Souls-like roguelike Metroidvania.
Oh, well, scrap the Souls-like. I don't know about that, but roguelike Metroidvania, I think, describes Dead Cells.
Yeah. That's the only thing you need.
But even then, is it a Metroidvania?
You side scroll through a very vertical map.
But you don't really backtrack.
It breaks down.
I mean, in that awesome, what is it called? Why am I forgetting the name? It's one of my favorite games of this year. The Wizard roguelike.
Last of Us Part 2, Ghosts of Tsushima.
The Wizard roguelike.
Wizardry? That's from a while ago.
Why can I not think of it? It's like one of my favorite games of this year.
Are you thinking of
Noita?
Oh,
Noita.
yeah.
Noita.
Why was that not on the Jeff Keighley list?
Yeah, Noita, man. Best indie game of this year for sure.
I bet it's going to be on the GDC list.
Is that a Metroidvania? Because like you go up and down, you side scroll, you backtrack.
Okay, what if these are tags? What if,
I guess the Vania is meant to mean Castlevania, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does it have to be a castle? This is the problem. We've argued about this shit for years, everybody, and it's really dumb. Like, they're really dumb.
It's all semantics, but unfortunately, it's like kind of how developers have to depend on selling their games. Because I know that having the right Steam tags is kind of a big deal for a lot of indie devs. And a lot of these Steam tags sound like this shit, like Souls-like, roguelike Metroidvania.
So it's weird because like Curse to Golf got called the Dark Souls of golf games, but it didn't get called a Souls-like because it's nothing like Souls. It just the Dark Souls of golf meant that it was a hard golf game. It didn't mean like it played anything like Dark Souls or anything. It just meant it was hard. So saying something is the Dark Souls of something means it's hard, but if you say it's a Souls-like, it means that it plays like a Souls game.
Yeah.
So that's another different way of putting it as well. And this is why it's so confusing and why it's kind of stupid to do stuff like this.
I think these are fine as tags. I think that the Steam tag system kind of sort of has this bullshit figured out a little bit.
I mean, it's fine on Steam because it tends to be the place where these people who look for this type of tag would buy. But it's like Ori and, Ori, right? Matt, would you call it a Metroidvania?
Sure.
I mean,
you side scroll and you backtrack. Like, it seems so weird to call Ori a Metroidvania.
Yeah, like I think it's just that there's no other genre that it's close to that it has to be a Metroidvania. It's an adventure game, I guess.
Metroidvania. Like that's a subgenre of the action/adventure.
Yeah.
Oh god, I hate role-playing game. Like that could describe almost anything when you get down to it.
But it shouldn't, right? It's like RPG. You kind of in games, you kind of know. Everybody knows what that means, right? Like,
yeah, you make your own character. You have stats.
You have a role to play that's specific.
Yes.
But it's like when Assassin's Creed changed and became a role-playing game. Like it became an RPG with was it the Egyptian one, Origins, or whatever it was, and it started having.
And in that case, it's more about a loot grind than it is playing a specific role out of a list of roles. And that's what I think of when I think of role-playing game, is like, okay, I've built a character who's a magic user. I better darn play like that or else I'm going to have a bad time. But yeah, like a lot of loot grinding Diablo-likes, or even to a certain extent modern Bethesda games where your character's a jack of all trades, don't really force you into that specific role. I hate it. I hate the term role-playing game.
And it's like JRPG, right?
Japanese role-playing game.
We could go on forever about this. It's tough, and we do need, I think, especially in indie games, we need a bit more like static genre stuff. But if you just want to pitch your game and you're like, it's a bit like a Spelunky-like and a loot-based game, like most publishers are going to be like, oh, for fuck's sakes. Like, stop it.
Wouldn't you want the elevator pitch for the publishers, though?
No, you want to be like, the way it works with publishing, and maybe this is why it should work, because a like is different. Like, it's how it plays. You can say, this game will be enjoyed by players who play Spelunky, players who play Noita, players who play Fire Emblem. Like, you can say that, but you're not saying it's a Fire Emblem like. It's an Advance Wars like. You're not saying that.
That's a tactics RPG.
Yeah. Like with XCOM, you'd be like, oh, players who like Advance Wars might like XCOM, right? That kind of stuff is what publishers look for. But you would not say, like, my game is a Spelunky like, because people, they'd be like, well, okay, but, people can play Spelunky. What makes your game stand out?
You know what I think is completely unique and something that goes beyond classification, beyond these labels that we're boxing ourselves in here, is the Dad and Sons t-shirt deal. Hey! Yeah, don't forget about that. We're super duper stotoked about that.
God, I can't believe it. We have our own shirts. It's been a long time.
tpublic.com/dadandsons.
I wonder if I will be bold enough to wear it in public.
It looks fine.
If that black and white one is, mwah, I'm gonna order me 10 of them.
The thing is, like, they'd be like, that kind of looks like you, Matt.
It definitely looks like you. Out of all of them, you are like nailed. Like the beard and the glasses.
I'm kind of nailed on that.
You are nailed. Yeah, huge thanks to Zig Poska. Superb work.
But I think it looks so professional that I don't think it's gonna matter. Like, oh, it looks like that's a cool t-shirt.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, but it's you guys.
It's
You guys
us.
ain't professional.
It's us here on the very professional, very slick, very, very well-produced Dad and Sons podcast. You can also support by going to the Patreon if you want to talk to us in Discord, submit questions there. We also do weekly game nights and play games with the fans when we're bored sometimes anyway.
Played Titanfall last week.
Yeah, this week we dug up Titanfall 2. If you are looking for a community of video gamers that still regularly play Titanfall 2, boy, do we have one for you. Also, consider the Nebula Curiosity Stream bundle. For $15 a year, you'll get access to thousands upon thousands of documentaries. Also, Dad and Sons episodes coming out early, ad-free.
We got cool people joining the Patreon all the time. Like right this minute, I checked the email and it said Jordan Willis has joined us. So Jordan Willis, just because you timed it perfectly, hello.
Just in time to say goodbye.
Just in time to say goodbye to you specifically, Jordan Willis.
Bye.
Bye.
Buy a t-shirt.
Buy the t-shirt.
Buy the t-shirt.